to have you on this evening more as we speak about Command Your Year 3.0. But more importantly, we want to get to know you a bit,
Mm-hmm.
right? So before I do that, let me welcome all those who are joining us on Facebook for this conversation this evening. Um, Thank you for coming. We're here to speak to you about Command Your Air 3.0. It's the third staging of our annual conference on career development, professional development, but just getting it and becoming whole as people. And so we have a special guest this evening, one of the conference speakers rather. I see her as incredibly erudite, incredibly wise. And we're going to hear a little bit more from Mauricia Wilson this evening. Mauricia, tell me about yourself. Tell our viewers about yourself. Who is Mauricia Wilson?
Who is Mauricia? All right. Diana's last daughter, her wash belly, Miss May's granddaughter, and I always reference my grandmother because she played a pivotal role in my upbringing. Mother, Christian, lover of God,
Yeah.
faithful friend. I try to be
Mm.
faithful to my friends. Past student of St. Hugh's High School. So big up
Wow.
anybody from St. Hugh's who is here.
A swan
And
girl.
yeah, the Swans. Big up on yourself and any signets watching. And a businesswoman, entrepreneur, CEO at Right on the Ball. That's just me. That's just me in a nutshell.
Okay, so we want to get to know you a little bit more intimately. So if you can choose your three fondest memories from your childhood, Mauricia as a child, what would those three fondest memories be?
Um, Growing up in Almontown, I spent my formative years there. I lived there until I was about 10 or 11. Playing dandy shandy in the yard with my sisters and the neighbors, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And during the summertime, going to the country to visit my father's parents. And my grandfather was a farmer and he would plant corn and peas and all sorts of things. And we
Mm.
just sit under this big tree. I think it was a pimento tree. And my cousin would boil corn or roast corn. And me as a town girl sitting down, it was just an adventure for me. So those are the things that I remember. Those two, nothing really stands out,
Mm-hmm.
just general memories of my family and being around family, even though by society standards we weren't wealthy, but I was
Mm-hmm.
happy and I felt like I had all that I needed at that time.
Ah, you're tapping into something that I want to explore a little bit later in our conversation.
Mhm,
By society standards,
mhm.
you were not wealthy, but you were happy.
Very, very.
And we sort of kind of measure happiness to what one has materially. And when
Hmm.
we talk about success later on, we're going to talk about how do we define that. Is there a singular definition? Is it individually defined? But we're going to come back to that a little later on in our conversation. I want to know a little bit more about Mauricia as a student. What kind of student would you say you were? I
I
imagine
was
you are a
very
bright light.
me. Oh my God. And you know, when I was going to primary school, I was extremely, I'm a shy person, I think.
Right.
I was very shy. If a question was asked, even if I knew the answer, do not expect me to put my hand up. I would not answer. The teacher would have to call on me. You would see me, but you would not hear me. People from primary school, I did not speak. I did not speak much. It was
Oh.
when I went to high school that I started to come into myself. And I remember how that happened was that at Michael practicing, big up Michael, there was a teacher, Miss Downey, in grade 6. And I refer to her as the repairer of the breach. I am so
Mm,
sorry that she's not alive now to even hear this from me. But
mm,
when I was so timid and shy in grade 6, she kind of pulled me out. She expected more from me and she did things to edge me on to get
mhm,
more. And that's how I kind of came out. And when I went to high school, I used to talk, maybe too much. Maybe the
Ah.
gate did bust open, but I would talk. I wasn't so
I'm
shy
trying to
anymore.
picture you as a shy student because
Very
now you're going to
shy.
be a speaker, and it's not your
I
first time,
know.
it's not your first rodeo speaking at Commander here. So I'm trying to imagine you shy.
Very shy. Anyone who knows me, like Avril, Jermaine from school, Chevril,
Mhm.
any of those people from parent, I wouldn't talk. I was very shy. I was very,
Mm.
very shy.
Do you remember what your earliest dreams were as a child?
And that no, it's funny because I used to watch JBC TV.
Hmm.
Before we had TVJ, it was JBC. And I used to like my grandmother, as I said, Miss May's granddaughter. I
Yes.
had to watch the news because she was watching the news. It was one station, so I had to sit there, and I would see the news anchors, Faye Ellington,
Mm.
Linda Della Penna doing sports. There was a man, Charles Lewin. Those people, they were there presenting the news. And me in my little shy self said, gee, this looks so glamorous to me. And I'd like to be able to speak like those people and look so well put together like them. But I was always so shy and didn't want to speak. So I
Mm.
found an escape through writing. I used to write a lot during high school. I loved the literature. I love literature. So that was my escape. So it would have been media or journalism. But God said, look here, I'm going to use you in another way.
Wow.
Surprisingly, yes.
I want to pick up on that. So your earliest dreams were that to be in the media as a
Hmm.
journalist, or your next career option would have been
It was always that.
always
It
that.
was
So so
always
so
that.
so what happened? Tell us what happened along life's way that caused this. Do we call it a detour? Is it even a detour?
Um, it was a detour, but what I'm learning is that
Mm.
no experience in my life is ever wasted.
Ah.
So to answer your question, when I left high school, I actually applied for Carimac at UWIC and I didn't get in. So I said, I love the language so much. I said, listen, I'm going to do a degree with an English major.
Mm.
And at the time, as I said, we were not wealthy monetarily, but I didn't feel poor. But then when you see the UE fees, you say, oh, but we're really poor for true. No, I was like, oh, but we're really poor.
Mm.
And my family, they could not start. The student loan, we weren't able to access that. So I had to get a job and try to go to school part-time. And I started UE, I started doing the English major, and I just couldn't manage school and work and being able to support myself, and I
Mm.
deferred. And
Mm.
that defer for a year turned to about 3 years. And then when I finally said, no, Mauricia, you have to go back to school. I said, you know what? By that time, I was working in the bank and I decided to do a business degree. But it was, you just do a degree. Now, in retrospect, I say I needed to do a degree. And because I'm in business, let me do it. But my heart was always somewhere else.
Mm. And you believe that every. Tell me something about what is your belief on detours.
Detours are God's way of saying, of bringing us back. It's a detour for us, but it's
Mm.
God's path to say, listen, you're trying to escape, you're trying to come off the road, I'm going to bring you back. So we may think it's a detour, but no, it's God saying, no, I'm going to take you back around full circle and position you where you should be, where I want you, where I want to use you. That's how I feel.
So, media, journalism, banking, business. What do you do now?
Now, I am proud to say that I am a career transformation coach, and I like to put the word transformation in because it's when people, I know that there are a lot of people like me who, because of life, they
Mm.
ended up in a career, but that wasn't really where they were supposed to be. And maybe they started feeling unfulfilled and they said, listen, I need to change my career, but where do I start? Because people will be looking at me. How do I do this? Where do I go? How do I plan to, escape the rat race and do what
Mhm.
I truly love?
Yeah, but you've kind of touch into so many other things that you never planned your life to enter into. Um, were there any lessons, any skills, anything that you took from your journeys to this new career that you're in, this new opportunity that you're not just opening up for yourself but for others? What have you taken from your journey so far to bring to this?
From my journey so far, as I said when I started, no experience is ever wasted.
Yeah.
And there are things that are in you, innately in you, that you may think it was just, a little dream, a little
Hmm.
superficial things. Like when you said I was younger and I said I would look at the news anchors and they would speak so well, and I would be like, gosh, I wish I could speak like those people. I loved how they looked, I loved how they presented. But it's all a part of, maybe it's just a clue God is giving you, like a little piece of the puzzle to say,
Yeah.
look, this is a piece of the puzzle. You like this? I want you to build on this and make a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
Put the puzzle pieces together.
So little did you know that the speaking would evolve into something like this. You
Would
thought it would
come.
have been on TV,
Me,
right?
I would never, as I said, when I was going to prom, I was so shy. You would
Yes.
not get me to, we soon go up on TV, man. We soon busting up. We
Right.
will be
Well,
there soon.
you're now this career transformation coach, and this may seem as a buck up to the undiscerning. This may seem like you're a rolling stone, that you have no fixity of purpose. Um, but we all know, you and I both know rather, that really life is purpose unfolding. Tell us, how did this happen? How did this shift happen from being in the corporate world and even in management, and now
And now here
um,
I am.
there you are. Tell us how
Well,
it happened.
well,
How did
as you
we get
said,
here?
I was having been at the bank. I felt like there was still something missing. I was there for a
Mhm.
couple of years. I was going up the ranks, and people would see me. I said, "But one good job at the bank. Your stockings and your high heels and your makeup every day. What is wrong with you?" And I said, "No, man, something is missing." And I
Mhm.
said, "Let me try something else." And I applied to an international firm. I said, "You know what? There must be something else bigger than me in the world." And I
Yes.
went there and I learned a lot. But in 2019, there were ups and downs in that particular job. And in
Mhm.
2019, I lost my job. The company closed. And it was a kind of happy, sad period. Happy in that it was kind of an environment I realized I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I was unhappy. It was a little toxic. So I was glad to be out of it. But more anxiety when I'm like, okay, so now I'm unemployed. I'm no longer a manager. I'm no longer speaking to people from all over the world. How do I define myself? And I
Mm.
had to I deliberately took some time in 2019. I said, listen, I'm not going to apply for any jobs for the remainder. It happened in August. And I said, for the remainder of 2019, I'm not going to apply for any jobs. I stayed home and I had to do a lot of introspection. Like, Maurica, where are you going? You don't feel happy in the 9 to 5 in the corporate rat race. What is it? And it just came back. Writing came to me first again to say to assist people. And during my own research about going back into the job market, I realized that, listen, this is something I have gone through, and I'm sure there are people out there I can share this with. And then I
Mm.
realized, but Marisa, say I like to serve, share it, share it. So that's how we came here. Because I wanted a second chance in my career. And
Mhm.
you'll see a lot of my videos say second chances. So that's
Yes.
how Right on the Ball came about, and second chances as a part of that.
This is so fascinating. You lost your job, quote unquote, lost your job, but you gained a new kind of outlook on life. How did you manage to get that kind of perspective? Because for most of us, when we lose our jobs, we throw our hands up and we have this woe is me. Why did this happen to me? And I know you said earlier that a lot of what we call detours are really redirection. But how were you able to see opportunity out of what should have been um, a really trying and testing time for you. We're thinking about your
It,
financial independence and freedom and security. We're thinking about all of, remember, we started earlier when you talk about you didn't have the markers of being
mm-hmm,
rich, but you didn't even know you were happy.
mm-hmm,
Um, you would have had all the markers of a success in that
mm-hmm,
job.
mm-hmm.
But now that you've lost your job, you pop down. That's it.
I
You
know,
pop
I
down.
know.
Um,
And it
make it make
was
sense.
and it was in that situation of being popped down
Hmm.
like a phoenix from the ashes. I had to just start again from scratch. Who
Mm,
am I? What is my purpose? And this is where purpose comes in, because I realized that, Maurica, there's something that you are created to do, that only you can do it the way that you can do
mm,
it. And I did a lot of things. I'm not going to lie. I volunteered because I realized I like to talk and impart knowledge. So I went over to my church and I volunteered there. And I said, no, this is not quite it. And
hmm.
then, as I said, let me do some media strategy. And I said, no, this is not quite it still. And I write, but it was a lot of trial and error. But eventually, all the pieces of the puzzle came together for me to realize that it's not what the world defines as success, but me living in purpose,
Ah,
doing what I was created to do, and on purpose, deliberately moving, taking steps to make sure that I keep on this path
mm,
of serving and, just opening up myself and doing what I cannot see myself now going back to working in a bank or something like that.
yeah.
I
What
can do it because I know there are things to offer, but I know another part of me just wants to serve and to help people if they want to change their career and to make plans and implement it.
you lost your job, you should have been despondent, but in the midst of that, you found value in that experience, lessons learned
Mhm.
that you can pass on to others. And that is your purpose and your life's work, your life's assignment.
Yes, I believe so.
So, what does success mean to Mauricia?
Success is being authentically me, serving.
Mhm.
Serving, I don't think it's just intrinsically in me. Like, even when I was working in the 9 to 5, I remember my assistants and those around me, when the office was closing, they said to me, say, Marissa, you taught me so much. It's like I just cannot have knowledge and not impart it.
Yes.
It's not benefiting me alone. So to me, success is being authentic, being my true self, helping others along the way, sharing whatever I have learned,
Yeah.
because as my friend would say, we can't live long enough to make all the mistakes in life for ourselves. So sometimes people have to guide you, and if I can do that, I, within my own little circle, I am a success. I
Yeah.
see myself as being successful. Maybe it's not like what the corporate world would call success, but it would make me happy to serve. It makes me happiest to serve others.
As you spoke, I couldn't help but think that success has to be defined by the
The
individual.
individual, not
And
the
it,
world.
right. Because I'm imagining if we have somebody else's definition of success, we'll be always chasing something that we
That
could
is
never
not,
achieve.
yes, that we can never attain. And
Mm,
it's when I started to do this, even though, as you know, I'm very shy, and every time I'm to do a presentation, even to come on the live, I'm like, geez, I have to come on the live. But it is so liberating. It is so
yes.
freeing. It's so liberating, knowing that this is what I'm supposed
Mm,
to be doing. I don't have to be looking to say, oh, this is what the world says. I need to have a house. I need to have. Those
mm.
are all nice things, mind you. But living on purpose and doing what you were created to do, surpasses all of that.
That sounds
Surpasses.
scary. That doesn't sound comfortable, Mauricia.
It's very scary. It's very it's very, you know, here I say every time when I'm to come on a live, or if I'm to give a presentation, I have to be
Yeah.
like, I don't have asthma and I feel like I need an asthma pump. But
Mm.
whenever I come on and I share and I realize that it helps people,
Yeah.
it's worth it. It's worth it every time.
Yeah.
I
I
go
think
through
it's
the
important to
jitters.
underscore that because a lot of people think once you're walking in purpose, it's a walk in the park. That it's easy and everything is smooth sailing. But you're telling us, yes, you're walking in purpose, but it's scary.
It's scary.
And you're doing it scared
And
nonetheless.
doing it scared, as Avril said, do it afraid. And I have
Yes.
made a promise to myself this year that whatever it takes, I said, God, whatever opportunities you give me that align with my purpose and your will for me, I'm going to do it. So even though some people will be pushing me a little and I'm going to be
Mm.
afraid to be stretched, some people, meaning people, they know themselves, I'm going to do it.
You
It's
deserve to
scary.
be stretched. There's
It's
so much
scary.
in you, and I'm looking forward to all that you have to offer at the conference. I'd ask you one more question before I get into a rapid fire question,
Mm-hmm.
because this was just about our audience getting to know who our speakers are.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it important for individuals to vision, set goals, create a plan, and execute from a paradigm of purpose? Why does purpose make all the difference?
Purpose makes all the difference because if you're going to be doing it and following, as we'd say, the world's definition of success,
Mm-hmm.
you'll just be gaining things but not feeling truly fulfilled.
Mm.
Once you found purpose and you can envision yourself doing something, like I envision us as a team, the Command Your Year team, 10 years from now, a few years from now, celebrating 10 years, Command Your Year 10.0.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see thousands of people attending the conference and they're getting help, all the help they need. And that is
Yondo
what
bobo
pushes
yondo.
me. And that's what pushes me to continue. That's what, no,
Yes.
honestly, I can envision it. So
Yes.
everything I do, I try to do it strategically to make sure that it's
Yeah.
adding and building each time on what I'm doing.
I'm happy that you see that too, because I see us not just touching Jamaica and the region, and we're poised to do that already, but the world.
I
I
do.
think
I
there's
do.
there's, there's a lot to offer. Your rapid questions, are you ready?
Yes.
And you have 4 seconds to begin to answer. Some of them might seem way off, but you have to answer. The first one is a
I'm married.
marry, shoot,
Marry,
or,
shoot, or
or date. Right?
so what? When you ask me
Marry,
the questions, oh, I should
I'm gonna
answer
ask,
marry, shoot, or
and
date.
right, and you gotta say
Okay.
which one you're going to marry,
And
which one
which
you're
one
gonna
I
shoot,
shoot? G's
which one you're
and
going to date.
P's. Okay.
No, listen for the options. Vibes Cartel,
Jesus.
Buju,
Mm-hmm.
and Barris Hammond.
Oh my God, I love berries. Marry berries.
Okay.
Shoot. Vibes cartel. Sorry. Sorry people. Sorry people. Sorry people. And date Buju, but I know that I'm gonna end up with berries. So me date him.
All right. I'll ask you one more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Denzel Washington,
Ooh, spicy.
Idris Elba,
Mm-hmm.
and the next one would be perhaps, um, let's go with Barack Obama.
Ooh. No, 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 no. Now things just got interesting now. Um, I'd still marry Denzel because I
Okay.
know he is in a long marriage with, like, I think it's like his high school sweetheart and he seems grounded to
Or
me.
letter. Yeah, she
Yeah,
said
and I
this is
think
good.
I think he's very grounded. And
Yeah.
I definitely date Barack. Hush Idris, I love you, but you have to take a gunshot. Sorry.
Well, that was quite interesting. I like the first one more. All right, now, beach or river?
You definitely know the beach all the time, beach all the time.
Okay. Um, red wine or white wine?
White wine, Moscato.
Oh Lord Jesus. Um, let me see. The next one that I would give you is oxtail gravy or curry gravy.
Curry gravy. And fried chicken? Nice. Nice. You can't eat fried chicken without curry gravy.
Somebody once told me that Jamaica's national dish is rice and peas and fried
Fried
chicken with
chicken
curry
with
gravy.
curry gravy. Yeah, man, shot. It's shot. It's shot, shot, shot.
Okay, sounds just about right. And finally, let me see if I can give you a tough one that would make the choice very difficult. Mm.
More difficult than Barack and
Dan
Denzel.
Barack and Denzel.
Like most
Yes.
ma have two husbands.
Bigamy.
Polygamist. Yes.
All right. Oh, yes. I found the perfect one. But that is if you know the people. Coffee or Lila Ike?
Oh, I like Lila Ike. I think she's very talented. I think she has a wide range. I think Coffee, because I don't know if maybe because she was out more, but I really like Lila Ike's sound and her range. I really like her. I really like her. I
Okay.
like Coffee, but I kind of like Lila
You
Ike
like
too.
Lila. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It was a pleasure getting to know more about you. I learned that you were shy. I really,
Very
really,
shy, very shy.
I
Even
can't see.
though, even though if we're there and someone say we need two people to go on stage, listen, I'm gonna be pushing the other person. I'm like, no. But if I have to do it, if purpose demands me to do it,
To
I
do
will
it, you
do
will.
it.
Any final words you want to leave with us this evening? And even regarding Command Your Year, why should people come out? Why should they register?
All right. I always use this. I use this. I think I used it the last time, and I'm going to use it again. To thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night doth the day, and you can't be false to anyone else. So to be true to yourself, I want you to come out to command your year. If you're watching me and and you're to a point that there is more that you have to offer, but you may be a little afraid or you're not sure to go about pulling that thing out. Command Your Year is just for you. We'll be focusing on igniting your purpose, aka catch a fire. And we don't want a
Yeah,
wildfire. We want a fire that is controlled. And
yeah,
there is power in controlling a fire. So come and just get ready. And when you come, make sure that you're prepared to do the work after.
yeah.
That's all
I
I
have
have
a
to say.
feeling that it's going to be refiner's fire.
Yeah. It probably
Refiner's fire.
is. It probably
That, that,
is.
that, that people are going to come out of this conference um, as pure gold,
I think so too.
clear
I think so
of the
too.
value that they have to offer, clear of
Heading.
how to now project themselves into the world
True.
as the value that they are. And it
Same
was
here.
quite a delight speaking with you,
It
Commander
was man.
Mauricio Wilson.
We
Yeah,
get a
yeah,
woman
married,
married,
you know? We have the first syllable in common.
I know, right?
I
It
just
was my
married you on
pleasure.
social media.
I know. Yes.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, everyone who joined us here on Facebook Live. Reminding
Thanks,
you that
guys.
Command Your Year 3.0 is March 5th, Saturday, March 5th, beginning at 10 a.m. And we have an exciting time for you. All the details will be in the description of this video. You can click on the Eventbrite link and register for Command Your Year 3.0. Have a great night. And thanks again,
Thanks,
Mauricio, for joining.
guys. Thanks, Damian. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. On a register, click the link.
Yes.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.